So a quick update on the 308. It's running really well at the moment. The problem that I was having with, and I was trying to trace for the coils, I think that was just purely down to the broken earth. So fingers crossed that seems to have resolved everything. There was a slight misfire, and it was traced down to a faulty plug extender. I don't know if you can see that bit on the camera there. It was starting to break away, and it was shorting out on the head. And these are new. I mean, I replaced these when I was doing that fault trace, so that was frustrating. Now it's ticking over a little bit fast. It's ticking over about 1,000 RPM, which is a little bit fast, but you can't slow it down at all. And speaking to Mick at QV London, he seems to think that when I rebuilt the carbs, one of the butterflies is starting to stick slightly. So I'm going to see how it goes. I might have to pull that apart again this winter, which is a bit frustrating, but better to get it done. I'm just working my way around on the lights, giving these a bit of a clean up. They were really black before. And I'm just checking the lights. I was out the other night. I seem to have no indicators. Now just now, I put the hazard warnings on, and that one worked, and that one didn't. I've now just put them on for the video, and now this one's working. Strange. It's a very weak light, so I'm going to have a look at upgrading these to LEDs anyway, I think. So inside the car, we've got our array of fuses. These are the very old style ones I've still got on here. And these are the relays, and as you can see, these are probably the original ones. A couple of replacements here. Definitely a much newer one sitting here, and that is the indicator one. So I'll give the terminals a quick clean up, a little bit of grease on it, and maybe that will resolve the issue. Okay, so that's cleaned up. Little smearing of the dielectric grease on it. I'll pop that back in. I'll have to keep an eye on that one. Okay, with my intermittent issue that I had the other evening of no indicators, and then in the evening no lights briefly, and then switch them on back on again, and everything was fine. Following the crazy wiring diagram that comes within the manual, I have now got my eyesight back again. It is so small print, and following it all along, it seems like the common thing to the lights and the indicators is the fuse. But just looking in here at the moment, I seem to have a bit of a broken wire there, so need to look into that. But the shared fuse is going to be this one. So let's have a look at the fuse, the connections, and actually that wire coming in there as well. I wonder if that's anything to do with it. Right, that's the next job. Before I got started on that, I just thought by unplugging this, let's just see, because the yellow, I think, according to the wiring diagram, was supposed to be lights, and I thought by unplugging that, the light shouldn't work. The lights do work. What doesn't work is the indicators. So obviously that is my indicator issue, or potentially the issue, but the hazards still work. So they're fed completely differently. It's, I don't know, 70s Italian wiring, don't get it. Alright, well that's one little job done, but those cables are not the indicator cables, so potentially I've still got the issue of a short somewhere with the headlights and the indicators. The wiring diagram I've got says they're azure, which I've taken down as blue, could be green I suppose, and the cables at the front, which are yellow and black, they seem to, when they're disconnected, that's when the indicators stop working. So yeah, I'm a little stumped, so keep going. So while I'm in here, I've just found this wired up here. I've got an orange cable and a black cable. They're a lot smaller than any of the correct ones. That one goes on to an aftermarket connection up to an earth up there, and that one seems to be connected into that white cable. Now I've got to say, this kind of joint really frustrates me. Somebody has just put on short length of wire. They've soldered it to that. Yet the actual connection for that one is only there. So why not just run a bit of a longer cable and put it in the connector block. Now, I've quite often been told that my rear lights on the 308 are absolutely fine, but the indicators are hard to see. Now, the rear lights on camera are probably flashing because I replaced those into LED bulbs a while ago, but couldn't get the indicators to work, so they are the old lights. And as you can hear, as they're flashing, it's affecting the power going to the fuel pump. So I got onto the guys at Classic Car LEDs on Thursday to ask them their opinion. They came back to me Friday with an answer, so I placed an order Friday, and Saturday morning it's all here. So fantastic. So we've got a new relay. I have got 4 orange LEDs which are going to replace the rear indicators, because I've got 2 on each side. I've got another 2 orange indicators for the front because I've got the clear light anyway. I've got 2 clear ones for the reversing lights, and I've got 2 side lights in a warm LED, so it just doesn't look out of place with the aging headlights. So let's fix it up, see how it looks. That's our indicator relay. So let's pop this in. It's actually more in keeping with everything else there, isn't it? And let's go and put a couple of the bulbs in. Okay, we'll start by doing one side. So I've got 2 of the orange for the indicator and 1 for the reverse. I wasn't too fussed about whether these were warm or cool, so just went for the brighter ones, which I believe possibly cool. Come around the back of the car, and in where the lights are, quite conveniently, these pop it out. Right, moment of truth. Back in the car, ignition on, fuel pump kicking in. Okay, indicator on. It is actually still flickering a bit, but then I haven't changed the front, so let's go and round the back and have a look. That's a lot brighter, but there's definitely a flicker there that you get with the LED. I mean, you get a LED flicker when you look at it on camera anyway, but I'm actually getting the flicker here, but that could be because I haven't replaced the front. So let's change the front and see what happens. Right, well, I am still getting that flicker, but one indicator bulb I did forget about was this one here on the side, so I wonder whether that makes a difference. But I don't think the fuel pump is quite as bad in the cutting out as it was before. The flicker is definitely reduced on that back one. So I think I better order up a couple more for those repeaters. Now, interestingly enough, now I've put the hazards on. The original ones are brighter than the new LEDs. That is odd. Yeah, and looking at the front, that LED is not even turning on, is it? Okay, so it must have been the draw on the original bulbs that was just killing that LED, but that looks amazing. That's fantastic, really pleased with that. So the last one now is the reversing lights, and yes, the LED is brighter, but to be honest, the original one on the right doesn't look that bad, does it? Get that one changed to match, and then I am fully LED on the back and fully LED on the front. Obviously the headlights can't be LED because that's not legal, and then I just need to order up those repeaters and then we should be good to go. There's another good reason to change that. I'll tell you, that reversing light was just on for the length of that video and the bulb was absolutely scorching. So cooler running on the LEDs, less draw on the electrical system. So for me, it's a winner. Nearly forgot the side repeaters. They didn't do an orange LED, so there's a warm white there, but I think that looks all right. And the other one, I'm just going to pop back into its correct place, and then we're done. Well, I'm really pleased with the difference that those LED bulbs made to the front and back of the car. In fact, I'm probably going to go ahead and replace all the internal bulbs as well, especially remove that instrument binnacle and see if I can replace those bulbs there. Meanwhile, I shall leave in the description below the details of the company that supplied the bulbs and the list of the part numbers that I used, just in case you're thinking of doing something similar to a 308 328. And yeah, anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video, and until next time, cheerio.